The next topic that we are going to see is partial derivatives. Hope you people have heard of partial derivatives and worked out problems based on partial derivatives. Here, let us start with the discussion of what do we mean by a partial derivative. Okay, in one variable sense, we had only just a minute. So in one variable sense, we have only a function of x. So the derivative means rate of change. So rate of change happening in what with respect to what? That matters a lot. So whenever we say derivative of f, we write this as f prime of x. This means whenever there is such change, very small change happening in x, what is the corresponding change happening in y? That ratio we call it as derivative. Suppose I'll take x as some quantity and x plus delta x as a very small quantity which is near to x. So I'll have to identify what is x plus delta x. When I apply this x plus delta x to f, what am I getting? Minus f of x. The same thing, x plus delta x minus x. So this is going to be simply f of x plus delta x minus f of x upon delta x. As this change is very small, what is happening to this ratio? This is what we mean by the derivative of function f with respect to x. We also write this as dy upon dx. Here you will have to remember one thing. This y is a function to which you apply an operator d upon dx. Hope you people have heard of binary and unary operators. Can any one of you tell me what do you mean by a binary operator and what do you mean by an unary operator? Anyone please?
The
Unary?
operator with that
Yes.
performs with one operand is known as unary operator, sir. And
Yes, correct.
binary is the one which operates with two operands.
So, can you give me an examples of unary and binary operators?
For binary, plus, minus,
Yeah.
division.
So, binary addition, subtraction, division, unary.
Minus.
For unary, plus 5 or minus 5, it is used to represent the sign of the number.
Okay. So, minus. Then anything else? In computer language, you have this increment and decrement operators. These may be considered as unary operators. So when you come to the concept of mathematics, of course you have this addition, subtraction, multiplication, divisions, which are binary operators. And examples of unary operators, yes, of course, a negation. If you have a five, you shall write minus 5. That is an example of unary operator. You can consider this modulus absolute function as an example of a unary operator. And then any function f of x means this is also an unary operator. Okay, so apart from this you have your derivative operator, integral operator. These are also unary operators because if you give only one function to this operator, it will perform. How it performs is different, but it is performing with the help of only one operand. Okay, so till now you have studied the concepts of differentiation and integration as plainly the concepts in mathematics. When you look at it in a more precise way, they are operators in mathematics. Okay, this derivative is an operator. So when it is a one variable case, these things happen. Now let us see what is happening with the two variable case. So when you have a function of two variables, you can fix either of them and do the changes, or you can apply the operator in with respect to only one variable. Okay, so how is it going to happen? uh, if you have to write the mathematical definition something like this, that is quite easy. So that is your, if it is a normal derivative, we write it as d upon dx. That is the change happening in the function y with respect to the change in x. Here the change happening in z with respect to the change in x. So this is okay. This derivative is generally evaluated at a particular point x. Okay, at a single point only we can evaluate. If you are able to identify the value of the derivative at all those points, we generalize things. So basic definition is given only for the derivative at a point. So the derivative at this point is limit h approaches 0 f of x naught plus h comma y naught minus f of x naught y naught upon h, and del z upon del y at the point x naught y naught is limit h approaches 0 f of x naught comma y naught plus h minus f of x naught y naught upon h. Can you see how we have extended the definition of a derivative to the definition of partial derivatives in two variable case? Can you see the similarities between them? Class, can you see the similarities between them? I am
Yes, sir.
asking you people.
Yes, sir.
So you can very well see the similarities. In the first definition, we have fixed y and we treated that as a function of x alone and did the things. In the second case, we fixed x and we treated that as a function of y and did the requirements. Now, let us see the meaning behind it. Suppose you have a, so let this be x axis, let this be y axis, and let this be z axis. Okay, so if you have x naught y naught which is fixed and you apply this to the function f, you would get some point which we denote it as z naught. And let us consider the case you choose your domain and you will have to identify the range of f. It is the collection of points z in, it is the collection of points z such that this z is f of xy. So when you try to plot this as a graph, you will have a surface something like this. You will have a surface. Okay, in a three-dimensional thing, you will have to imagine these things. You will have a surface in a space. Okay, suppose this is your point x naught y naught, and along corresponding to this x naught y naught, you will have a point z naught which is here. So when you plot this in a three-dimensional thing, you represent this as x naught y naught z naught. Your z naught is nothing but f of x naught y naught. Okay, partial derivative with respect to x means along this point you are able to identify a vertical plane. Okay, which cuts the surface at this point. So you are able to identify some plane like this. So when it cuts the surface, you are able to find out a curve like this. So it is cutting the point only. So when it cuts the point, your surface is not a flat surface, it is like curved one. Okay, you will get a curve. So next you will have to you have done these things, right? You have identified a vertical plane along x-axis, and if you try to identify a tangent plane at this point for this curve, the slope of the curve is your first derivative with respect to x. In a similar way, you can extend this idea for y as well. So you cut with a vertical plane which is parallel to your y-axis. Here I have cut a plane which is parallel to x-axis. Here we are trying to draw three-dimensional things in two dimensions, so we cannot exactly see what is happening, but but our intuition and by our assumption only we can feel what is happening exactly, right? So these are the ideologies behind it. Now we will move into the problems. So the first problem that we are going to see is to find the values of del f upon del x and del f upon del y at the point 4 comma minus 5 if f of xy, which is given as x squared plus 3xy plus y minus 1. Can any one of you try this? Plus, when you are asked to perform the partial differentiation with respect to x, what will you do? Class, anyone please?
Sir, we should consider y as constant, sir.
Okay. So when you find del f upon del x, what would you get?
2x plus
2x?
2x
3y.
plus 6y plus 0.
Sure.
2x plus
3y, sir.
6y, sir.
3 by 3y.
3y?
3y, sir. 3y.
3y.
Then
That's all, sir.
that's it. Okay. What is your del f
Yes,
upon
sir.
del y?
3x
3x
plus 1.
plus 1.
1. So now we are actually asked to find out the values of this
3x plus 1,
derivatives
sir.
at the point. So del f upon del x at the point 4 comma minus 5, which is 2 times of 4 plus 3 times of minus 5, which is 8 minus 15,
5.
that is minus 7.
Minus 1.
Del f upon del y at the point 4 comma minus 5 is 3 times of 4 plus 1, which is 12 plus 1, which is 13. Okay, so the next problem, find del f upon del y if f of xy is x cos xy. Can anyone try this?
Yes, sir.
So it is del upon del y is applied to this function. So when you are about to differentiate with respect to y, we will treat x as a constant, so we take it outside. Then del upon del y of cos xy. So when you differentiate cos, what would you get?
Sine.
Minus sin
Sine,
xy.
sir.
And when you differentiate xy with respect to
Then
y, what
differentiate
would you
with
get?
y.
When you differentiate
X,
x,
sir.
yeah, x. So this becomes
X.
minus x squared sin xy.
Yes, sir.
So am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Suppose in this problem, if we are asked to del f upon del x, what would we do?
So UV method, sir.
Yeah, we will have to make use of product rule. That is by keeping this quantity as it is and differentiating x alone, and then keeping x as it is and differentiating cos xy. So
Yes.
in this case, we would get cos xy multiplied with 1 plus x
That's
multiplied with
equal to.
sin xy y. So it is going to be cos xy minus xy sin xy. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Sorry, I'll have to add few more slides here. Yeah, now let us continue. The third problem is also to find fx and fi. These are shorthand notations to represent the derivative of f partially with respect to x and the derivative of f partially with respect to y. If f of xy is given to
Yes,
be
sir.
y upon y plus cos x. Any idea?
So, so fx we can easily differentiate, sir.
Okay, so in order to find fx, we are going to perform this one.
1 by cos x differentiate.
So here we treat y as a constant, so we take it outside. So del upon del x up 1 upon y plus
1 plus cos x.
cos x. Okay, good. Then what is it? So if in these cases, let us try to make use of chain rule by making this y plus cos x. Let me take this as t. Okay, so now I am differentiating del upon del x of t, sorry, del upon del x of 1 upon t. So it is minus 1 upon t square and then derivative of t with respect to x. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So this is what we are going to have. So doing that, here we would get minus 1 upon y plus cos x whole square multiplied with derivative of this quantity with respect to x. So we are going to have minus sin x. So minus minus becomes plus. So we are going to have 2y sin x upon y plus cos x whole square. Okay, we are done with the partial derivative with respect to x. Now we will have to perform for y. So that is del upon del y of 2y plus y plus cos x. Yeah.
Sir,
For the
UVV methods.
sorry, which method?
U UVV.
That is quotient rule. Yeah, good. So what does your quotient rule say?
Sir, U dash V minus V dash U.
And derivative of this one minus having this as it is and the derivative of this one upon y plus cos x whole square. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So your derivative would give you that 2 times of y plus cos x minus 2y times of 1 upon y plus cos x whole square. So your 2y gets cancelled and you are left with 2 cos x upon y plus cos x squared. So this is the expected derivative. Okay. Now we are going to hope you people remember what do you mean by an implicit differentiation. Do you people remember it? Do you people remember what do you mean by implicit differentiation? You may be given a function of xy equals some constant. This is given. So from this, you may be asked to find out what is dy upon dx. This was the problem of implicit differentiation. So examples for these type of problems is x squared plus y squared is equal to 1. So find dy upon dx from this. How do you find this? Plus, how do you find it?
So 2x plus y square y dash
2x plus 2y dy upon dx equals,
2y y dash
sorry,
0, sir.
equals, you will get 0, right? You are differentiating with respect to x, the derivative of a constant is 0. So this is what you have. So from this
Yes,
you
sir.
can write 2y times of dy upon dx is minus 2x. You can cancel 2 on both sides. Therefore your dy upon dx is minus x upon y. In implicit differentiation ideologies, you will be given an equation which involves both the independent and dependent variable in one variable case. When you extend the same ideology to a several variable case, that is implicit partial differentiation, that is also possible, right? And exactly the same thing we will do in our course as well. Instead of having a derivative, that is instead of having a normal derivative of this kind, we will have partial derivatives. So the first problem is find del z upon del x if the equation yz minus log z equals x plus y. This equation defines z as a function of x and y. Okay, this is given. Okay, let me move to the next page and write the question here. We are given yz minus log z equals x plus y. So from which we will have to find del z upon del x. So let me explain this completely. Then from the next problems you may try. So sorry. If you differentiate, okay, mark this as equation 1. Differentiate equation 1 partially with respect to x, you would get y is to be treated as a constant here because we are differentiating with respect to x, and z is the variable which involves both x and y. Okay, you treat y as a constant and you will have del upon del x of z minus del upon del x of log z equals del upon del z of x plus y. So this is what you have. Since y is a constant, that we have taken it out, and this quantity we write this as simply del z upon del x. And here you know that you are going to have, when you differentiate log, you would get 1 upon the quantity. Yes, it is there. And when you differentiate z with respect to x, you are going to have this as it is del z upon del x. Okay, and equal to sorry, we are differentiating with respect to x only, I wrote z. So when you differentiate with respect to x, you would get 1, and when you differentiate y, you are going to get 0. So what you have is, you can take del z upon del x as a common quantity. Y minus 1 upon z equals 1. So your del z upon del x would be, okay, before going to the next side, we shall write it as zy minus 1 upon z equals 1. Therefore, your del z upon del x is, when you take this quantity to the next side, you would get z upon zy minus 1. Okay, is the idea clear?
So once more, sir.
So, if you are asked to find out a partial derivative by giving some equation of this kind, remember your z is a function which involves both x and y. Okay, when you are differentiating partially with respect to x, your x is a x and z is a function of x. Just like we had y is a function of x in this case, there we have z is a function of both x and y. Whether you are differentiating with respect to x or whether you are differentiating with respect to y, you will have to differentiate z with respect to the respective variable. Okay,
Yes, sir.
you using the same ideology, we are differentiating this quantity. When you differentiate, uh, just a minute. When you differentiate yz with respect to x, your y is a constant, so we take it outside. And when you differentiate your z with respect to x, you are going to have del z upon del x. Okay,
Yes, sir.
this is log z. So when you differentiate a log quantity, you would get 1 upon
One
z,
by
and when you differentiate z with respect to x, you are going to have del z upon del x. So the same thing we have written here. And when you differentiate with respect to x to this x, you would get 1. And when you differentiate y, you are going to get 0. So we have written all these things, and we have, after coming to this stage, you will have to group things which involves del z upon del x in one side and rest of the things in the other side.
Yes, sir.
Group the things
Yes.
out. So among which take del z upon del x as a common, remaining you are left with 1 minus 1 upon z. So when you take LCM, it is going to be zy minus 1 upon z equals to 1. So when you take this quantity, which is in multiplication here, when you take this quantity to the next side, it goes as the division. Okay, so 1 divided by zy minus 1, and denominator to the denominator, hence it goes to the numerator, and that is why you have these things. Okay, this is your derivative. Now let me give you a similar problem. Mm, the plane x equals 1 intersects the paraboloid z equals x squared plus y squared in a parabola. You are asked to find the slope of the tangent to the parabola at 1 to 5. Just go through the question and tell me what is given and what are we actually, what is the thing that they have asked us to find.
Slope, sir.
Yeah, okay, slope we'll have to find. Good.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's the derivative of z, sir.
With respect to what?
Both x and y, sir.
Sure.
Not sure, sir. Mm.
So
So
1 to 5
paraboloid,
are intersection points, sir.
paraboloid. It is given that it is a paraboloid. How does a paraboloid look like?
The three-dimensional of parabola, sir.
So three-dimensional image of a parabola. So if I take this as my x-axis, this as my y-axis, and this as my z-axis, yeah, of course it is the. I have written it as a parabola. It is a paraboloid. Okay, three-dimensional of this one. So First of all, before getting into the drawing, let me explain you how does it look like. Now, can you? I request you people to pin my screen so that whatever I explain you can see. Okay, or else I'll stop presenting so that you can easily see my. So, can you people see my screen now? I mean, my face.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I can make use of this board as well. So paraboloid means how does a parabola look like? It look like this. Okay, upward facing parabola looks like this. If you rotate it, you are going to have something like a coconut shell, right? That is an example of a paraboloid. Okay,
Yes, sir.
here what we are given is that we are given z is equal to x square plus y square. In this problem, they themselves have specified that it is a paraboloid, but what if they don't specify it is a paraboloid and we are given with only that equation alone? So, hope you people can see my screen now. Okay, my question is what if they have not specified it is a paraboloid? If they have not specified it is a paraboloid, how do we identify this is a paraboloid from the equation alone?
Sir, from the equation, sir.
So from the okay, from how from the equation?
Sir, y is equal to x square plus c for parabola, sir.
Y is
So z
equal
is
to
equal
x
to
square plus c is for parabola. Okay.
for parabola. Then
Hmm.
for three-dimensional parabola means extra one z square or something like it should be added, sir.
Okay. So if you know the equation, that is well and good. But if you do not, I think many of you might not be aware of these things. So let me give you the ideology. You know, x square plus y square equals some constant represents a circle. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So here you see you are given with x square plus y square. It may be x square plus y square or y square plus z square or x square plus z square. It is up to the author or the question setter to give whatever they want. Okay, something squared plus something squared equals some constant means it is a circle. Whether you are identifying a circle in an xy plane or xz plane or yz plane, that differs. Okay, here it is a circle in xy plane. Okay, good. So based on the value of c, we are going to have a circle of this sort. Okay, so only this point on the this axis is very clear. So on the floor you have a circle, but what is the radius? The radius can vary. Am I right? Because z is equal to, so z is going to be your radius based on the value of z. If z value is 0, then you will have x square plus y square equals 0. So that is a single point which is origin. If your z value is 1, so if your z value is 1, you are going to have a circle of radius 1. So you will have a circle of radius 1. If your z value is 4, then you will have a circle of radius 2, a bigger one. So like this, when you move, you can very well see you are going to have a paraboloid. So this is how we can identify we are having a paraboloid actually. Okay, something of this sort is going to we are going to have. And the plane x equals 1. X equals 1 means it is somewhere here. it is intersecting. Okay, so we will have a plane of this sort which intersects the paraboloid. Okay, it is intersecting in a paraboloid. Now we will have to find the slope of the tangent to the parabola. Okay, so it is intersecting. If it intersects at a particular point, so you just try to find out the trace of this intersection. You may very well see that it is happening to be a parabola. Okay, you have a coconut shell kind of a thing. You just cut the coconut shell. After cutting, look at the edges, you can see a parabola. Such type of parabola is the thing that we are talking about here. Okay, the plane x equals 1 intersects the paraboloid and that gives you a parabola. Now you will have to find the slope of the tangent to that parabola at 1 comma 2 comma 5 at this point. So for which what you have to do is that, so you are going to have a parabola of this sort. So if you find del z upon del y, from it what would you get? You would get only 2y. Okay, so at the point 1 comma 2 comma 5, so only 2 is to be substituted, 2 times of 2 which is 4. Okay, or else it is intersect the plane x equals 1 is intersecting this quantity. Am I right? So along this entire plane your x value is 1. So when your x value is 1, your z becomes what? 1 squared plus y squared, which is 1 plus y squared. So what you have is z is equal to 1 plus y squared. Now you have a parabola. This is the equation of the parabola that they are talking about. Okay, now you may treat this as a function of one variable, and if you need the slope, you just find the derivative. So here you may treat this very well as the normal derivative, and it is going to be 2y. So when you substitute the point 1 to 5, so it is 2 times of 2 which is 4 again. Okay, so sometimes uh, it is not enough to know the know the mathematical idea behind it. Sometimes we have to know the ideology, the instances where we can make use of these mathematical concepts. Those things also we will have to remember. Okay, we'll have to think. Okay, only then we can find these ideologies. So this is for today, and